Hello, welcome. Welcome to 2026, everyone. Hello. Oh man, had to start the new year off right. Welcome to the first live draw. Is anybody showing up? Welcome to the first live draw of 2026, everyone. I'm Phil. So excited to have you here. Welcome. I was off last week. I decided to take a break. I feel like I deserve one break, and it was at the very beginning of the year. But I'm back, and you're back, and I'm really glad to have you here. Those of you that I haven't scared off yet. Oh man. Well, welcome, guys. I hope you had a wonderful new year. I'm very excited to let you know what I've been working on, and yeah, thank you so much for being here, guys. Well. Let's see here. When last we saw each other, it was last year. It was 2025, and like my Mr. Tibu says, I like your happiness. Thank you, Mr. Tibu. I'm very, very happy to be back. I'm happy to have y'all here, and I never know who's going to show up because I have a pretty small channel. Sometimes, a lot of people show up randomly, and then sometimes darn near next to zero people show up. It's okay. I do this every week. It doesn't really matter. Of course, I love when more people show up. It's always fun to have lots of people. But anyway, I'm going to introduce myself since it's the beginning of the year, and maybe there's some new people popping in tonight. My name is Phil. I am an indie animator based out of Austin, Texas. And every week at Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, I do this 1 hour live stream. It's for a number of reasons. Sometimes I do it I do it for partially because I like being social. I do it because it's nice to explain my artistic process with people. I do it a little bit as an homage to a live stream show I started back in 2020. It's a little bit of a bunch of different reasons, but I'm glad to have you here, and it's a live show. So if you are here during the actual recording of this, I would love for you to chime in and say hi. People do tell me outside of this live stream, people tell me that they watch, and then I'm like, I didn't know you were watching. You didn't tell me you were in the room. So, I know maybe people are a little bit embarrassed. You get a little bit of stage fright. That's fine. But it's just, typing out text on a screen. So if you feel like you don't mind a little bit of me calling out your name, let me know you're here. I'd be glad to say hi to you on camera. Anyway, so when last I was with you guys, which was 2 weeks ago, if you can remember that, I was working on scene 55 of New Ad Day. And if you don't know what New Ad Day is, it is a upcoming 7-minute animated short that I've been working on for several years now. I am hand animating it on paper, hand drawing and animating it on paper. At this point in time, I think I'm pretty close to, I think I'm almost at 3,000 drawings. Let me just double check how many frames I'm at. Right now, it looks like, okay, I'm right around 2,900 frames. Okay. That tells me that probably within the next month or so, I will cross over the 3,000 frame mark, which is really exciting. I'm very jazzed about that. It's the biggest animated project I've ever made in my life. It's the most ambitious. And yes, I'm very close to finishing all the rough pencil animation. I still get intimidated, even at this stage in the game, by just how much work is ahead of me. And it's not stuff that I don't like to do. I love to do it, but it's just so much. And because I work on it kind of part-time, because I still have a full-time job, because I have to work on it like on my off hours, I don't have as much time to invest into it as I would like to do that. But I do put a decent amount of time into it each week. So anyway, last time I was here 2 weeks ago, I was working on scene 55. It was the last scene of, I keep looking off camera because I've got my storyboard pages on the wall. So it was the last panel on storyboard page 21. That's done. That's completed as of the end of last year. I am down to 3 storyboard pages on my wall. You can kind of see the corner of one over here in the upper corner if you're watching on the horizontal live stream. So I'm down to the last 3 pages of my original initial 24 pages of storyboard that I like created back in 2020 or whatever it was. No, it wasn't 2020. I started writing in 2020. I don't remember when I made the storyboards, but anyway. So down to 3, which is really, really exciting. That means I'm making a prediction. This is the year. 2026 is the year. I am calling it right now that I will be completing rough pencil animation on new ad day, because I've only got the 3 pages left. So I did the math, and if I keep my pacing going, even if I don't keep my pacing going 100%, there's still plenty of time in the year for me to get these last 3 pages animated. And on top of that, oh, Jax K4P is here. Hi, over there on YouTube. Appreciate you being here and saying hi. Thank you so much. And I came up with some other scenes that I wanted to add that weren't in my original storyboard or my original script. It's not going to be like a ton, but there's a few more scenes I want to add. And there's like a little montage, maybe a 20-second montage that I was thinking about doing. Well, the other day, I was like, man, I really need to write down what those scenes are going to be. And I don't mean draw out. I will draw them out. I haven't done that yet. But I was like, man, I should, at the very, very least, I should write out like what's going to happen. I'm going to lower that music a little bit. Let's see. You know what? Let me change that song real quick. There we go. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to find some good music to play in the background that's not going to be too distracting, and not going to get me in trouble with YouTube copyright strikes. So I had a few problems at the end of last year where I definitely got in trouble with YouTube a little bit. All right, let's just lower that a little bit. Okay, so the other night I figured it out. I was like, all right, I'm going to write down these 3 ideas I have for this montage. And so now I've got them typed out. I haven't drawn them yet. I'm going to do that soon, like a storyboard page for that. I think it's only going to be 1 storyboard page. My plan is to possibly just like use 2 squares on a storyboard page for 1 scene. And then since there's 6 squares on 1 page, then that'll give me room to do all 3 scenes, the whole montage on 1 page. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm like starting to mentally put myself there, because that's the next thing that'll come after I finish drawing the 3 pages that are on my wall right now. So with scene 55 done, and I do want to mention scene 55 again for just a moment, because it was very, very difficult for me. I don't fully understand why. I have some idea as to why. It was a little bit more complex than I'm used to. I was drawing characters both moving at the same time, and I was doing like weird 3/4, like backwards 3/4 shots, and there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of like, you know, hand motions and things like that. So it was just kind of a lot of stuff that I don't always do. And it was very difficult. It took me like 5 weeks to finish scene 55, and I was getting pretty frustrated with it, if I'm being honest. So at the end of the year, I took like, I don't know, maybe 5 days off, and just kind of, you know, did some tidying up around the house and kind of took a step back and took a breather, which I'm glad that I did. But I'm going to tell you that these past few days of this week, like all of this week, that I've been trying to get back into the swing of things, I have found it to be pretty difficult to kind of like to get myself back into the flow, that has been a really, really hard thing to do. And I'm not quite there yet, but I did start scene 56. I have a handful of drawings already done on scene 56. So I have like a good starting point. I feel pretty good about it. Jax K4P says, I hurt my head. How did you hurt your head? What happened, Jax? Hey, thanks for the thumbs up from Jim Middleton over on Facebook. Jim, it's great to have you here when I'm doing the actual live recording. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks so much. So when I look at the last 3 pages of storyboards on my wall, it's not like consistently broken down, meaning it's not like one square on the page equals one scene. It sort of depends. So the page I'm on now, which is storyboard page 22, the top 3 panels are one scene. And then the bottom 3 panels are one other scene. So there's only 2 scenes on storyboard page 22. I'm telling you this to say that when I complete scene 56 and then scene 57, I'll be down another page. So I might be down to 2 pages, I don't know, by February maybe. Like it's starting to move along. And I just want to talk a little bit about how, like, what's going on in my head right now, because I feel like one of the things that's happened along this project is as I've felt myself improving my own skill set, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying like compared to what I used to do or what I even did at the beginning of this project, I like know that I'm improving compared to myself, right? Which I think that should be the goal of anybody doing a big project. You should be wanting to improve yourself. So I will tell you that as I've been going along and improving, I assumed that by the time I would get to the end of the project, I was thinking, oh man, it's going to get so easy by the time I get to the end, because I will have. This is me like 3 years ago. I was going, oh, by the time I get to the end, I'm going to be breezing through everything, because by then I will have gotten so used to this process that I'll have a real good kind of like internal assembly line, right? Not really. It didn't really happen that way, because what I've been doing instead is I keep going, how can I make this more interesting? How can I complicate things? And so then it's more interesting for me, but also more interesting to look at. So what that's done is it's made it so that I don't know that I'm going faster as I go. I'm just getting more complicated. So, I'm telling you all that to say I'm sort of in the home stretch, which I thought would mean, it's going super fast, and it doesn't really mean that. It means I guess it's a good thing though. It means I'm taking my time and I'm trying to do it right. The scene I'm working on right now is the final scene of my customer character. Like, my customer character will be wrapped on this cartoon after scene 56, the one I'm on right now. So I think part of what's happening is I'm very big on going out with a bang, right? Like finish strong. Or I always tell people I want to like stick the landing, which is kind of a gymnastics term, I think, where you do your like routine and then you stick the landing. I think about that a lot. So for me, if this is the customer's last big moment on camera and he's kind of like, he's going out yelling at my main character and storming off, to me, that's a pretty big crescendo moment. And I want that to look impressive. I want it to look good. I want the animation to be, the best of what I've done for this character in the whole cartoon, if possible, because that's like the last time you see him. So I think what that does to me is it sort of slows me down a little bit, and it puts me up in my head, which I'm well aware this is happening. It's difficult for me to do anything about it, but I'm aware that it's happening. Anyway, what else is going on? Well, I got a different monitor I upgraded my monitor. I think it had been like 11 years since I switched monitors. So I have a new monitor, and if you're wondering why this angle looks a little bit different, it's because it is. It's because my webcam is now sitting higher up, and I am not sitting higher up because my chair doesn't go any higher. So now I feel short. Excuse me. I guess I could tilt this down. That's a little better, but it definitely is tilted. But that's fine. Anyway, so the angle's a little bit different from last year, right? So here we go. It's a new year, and now things look a little bit different, which I think is kind of appropriate for switching over to a new year. I'm very much a fan of I don't know, timely changes. I think it's a good thing. So I've kind of cleared off my entire desk. I removed pretty much everything that wasn't 100% necessary, and I've got a bunch of clutter now around the rest of my office behind my desk, like off camera. I am going to address the clutter. I am going to, but I decided it's better for me if I don't have a lot of stuff on my desk. If I look at my desk and it's mostly just cleared off, and all I have are like the necessities of like my keyboard and my speakers, maybe a drink, my lamp, just like real basic stuff. So I sort of switched the way I'm doing things. It does mean I have to find somewhere else to store a bunch of things that I had on my desk. But I moved some furniture around over here, like this little brown table. This used to be over here off camera. You guys can't see. And I moved it. I flip-flopped it with, I think, the white table that is here that you can't see, and the other white shelf that is now there. So I sort of moved things around. I actually like this setup better. You can see my scanner now. If you look at my live streams from last year, my desktop, the tower was sitting like here, like you could kind of see the actual tower, and then sitting on top of the tower right here was the scanner. So whenever I wanted to scan something, I had to like lift it up like this. It was super awkward. So I moved it. So now I've got it here. Now I can actually just work from here. I can kind of turn around. I can switch the drawing out. I can come back over here. I don't know if it's permanently the way I'm going to do it, but it might be. It might be for now anyway. So I definitely did some rearranging. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up on Facebook from Jonathan Taylor. Thanks so much. So that's all kind of new. And what else is going on? Oh, hey, Meet Kimbrough's here. Now the Stay Puffed man can't stare directly into my soul. He if I move like this, he can. Now he can. But yeah, so I've changed quite a few things. But I also got rid of a bunch of stuff that was like in front of my monitor. The old monitor that I was using before was sitting on a platform, like a acrylic platform, and I've moved that acrylic platform now to be behind my drawing table. We'll see how that goes. I'm still testing some of these things out, but I'm gonna actually see if I can turn my. This is my first time doing a live stream with my new setup, so let me see if I can turn things around a little bit. Now, some of you are watching on my standard live stream, and some of you are watching me on mobile. And so if you see me kind of questioning how I'm doing this stuff, it's because I have both examples of mobile and landscape. I have both of them on my screen at the same time. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not like making anyone's experience too different from anyone else's as best I can. So I'm going to sort of turn. So like those of you that are watching on landscape, you guys can see that door over there. And those of you that are watching on mobile, you cannot see a door over there. That's kind of the thing. But I'm going to see if I can turn my drawing table. Now, those of you watching in landscape, you can see my drawing table quite well. And I actually really like this setup. This is really nice. Those of you who are watching on mobile, you probably can't see my drawing table very well right now. So I'm going to turn this more. Now you can, right? Now you can. All right. So I can get a sip of water, and I'll show you a little bit of what I've been working on so far. Okay, a little bit of water. So I've got a bunch of drawings sitting here behind my drawing desk, and so I can kind of like, sorry about the focus. Oh, that's super weird. Why is that happening? Okay, let's see. I just got. Let's see if I can kind of. This is my customer character. He's looking directly at camera, which is a really fun angle to take, and he's pointing and he's very angry. So I've been working on those, and I think I've got some more. I do have some more. So there's some other drawings here, some over the shoulder drawings, some these are some like really rough ones that I need to go back and tweak as he's walking away. So I'll get back to those later. This should work out. This should work. I might add another camera at some point. I know I said that last year, but I'm still thinking about it. And then this is what I'm working on tonight. This is a drawing that I made earlier today. And so this is, you can kind of see a little bit of motion happening there. And let's see, we've got this. You can kind of see that, right? He's kind of talking a little bit. I do that real fast. So yeah, moving right along with scene 56. It's amazing to be able to say that. Is like now I'm on the back half of the scene 50s, which is just kind of wild. I've only got maybe 10 more to go, roughly, of the original planned ones. Hey, over on Facebook, thanks for the like from Jordan Benans Hillard. I appreciate the like. Those of you that are watching me on YouTube, if you're giving me a thumbs up on there, I thank you as well. I can't see the thumbs up while I'm recording. For whatever reason, the program that I use does not show me that, but I do appreciate it. I go back after the recording is over, and I can see them then. So thank you for all that. So I did start a new drawing before I came on tonight. I just got the basic circle, but I got the placement of the circle, and let's see, I think the plan was, let's see. Yeah, okay. All right, I think I know what I was going to do. I need to flip these drawings around, though. So I am going to start working on this right now, I think. So we're going to switch these drawings around. Why did I switch drawings around? You may be wondering. Well, whatever drawing is closer to me shows up stronger or darker through the paper that I have. And so if I'm making a drawing that happens like closer to one of the drawings than it is to the other one, then I want that drawing to be more forward, so I can make sure I can see what the next one, the one that came right before it or the one that comes immediately afterwards. Then it kind of gives me a place to go. So that's why I was just doing that. So now I have to take customer guy here from this drawing to this drawing. He's going from there to there. But in between there, he makes a different face. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that. Let's see if I can get my music back up. Let's see if I can pull that back. Oh, hey, Sam, okay? Member for 16 months. Look at that. You just popped that up on my... Well, thanks for being a official channel member. Look at that. Member for 16 months. Thank you so much. Happy Friday to you, too. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Woohoo! 16 months! How's everything coming along tonight? Oh, good, good. I'm working on... Let me lower that a little bit. Oops. There we go. Good. I'm working on scene 56 right now. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up on Facebook from Jen Raymond. Hey, Jen. Nice to have you back. Good. I'm just working on some drawings for scene 56. As you can kind of see here. Got my customer guy, and he's in mid-speech and just sort of fleshing out this final scene for the customer, which is kind of crazy. I keep saying it because it's kind of wild to me. So this is his last big moment. I mentioned earlier tonight, guys, that I keep finding ways to complicate things, and I have already started to think of a way to do that with scene 56. It's not because I want it to be more difficult for me to do. It's not like I'm trying to go, let me make this harder for me. It's more like I keep thinking like, well, I can probably do better. I can put more out and have a more impressive result. That's kind of why I do those things. So the result that I'm thinking about doing with this scene has to do with as his customer is getting ready to leave the store, he's kind of making a bit of a scene. And I thought, well, if he's only in this scene by himself, then I don't feel like it gives the impression that he's really making a big scene. So what I plan to do once I finish all of his drawings is to go back in, and it won't be very many drawings, but I want to go ahead and like add a small handful of drawings of like a background character, like a random other character, probably another customer, who maybe turns over their shoulder to look at him being loud and obnoxious and kind of like watch him walking away. I just think it would be sort of funny to have another character, you know, witnessing what's happening firsthand. So making a scene in scene 57. No, scene 56. Scene 56. 57 is next. 57 will be the reaction scene of New Guy. New Guy will be he's the only character in scene 57. Although scene 57 will include Spike's hand puppet, who I haven't drawn since I started this cartoon in like May of 2023. So I'm really, really close. Maybe later this month, we'll see. But I'm getting really close to drawing Spike's hand puppet again, which I'm really looking forward to doing. Whoops, that's what I meant, scene 56. Yes, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. Thank you. So that's what I'm doing right now is I'm working on his big exit, the customer's big exit moment. And it's going well. But part of the issue when the character is really close to the camera like this is a kind of extreme close-up moment, and I don't really plan on having, I don't think there's not a whole lot more of this in the rest of the cartoon. It's nice to be large like this on the paper when I'm showing you guys, because you can really see what I'm working on. The problem is, because it's so big, I have to kind of move back and really figure out the relationship of, you know, the lines, and it takes longer because the drawing is bigger. If the characters were like, you know, this big on the paper, then I could get through a bunch of drawings in one night and it would be no big deal. But because each drawing is so big, I have to sort of figure out like the position of his hands and where his eyebrows are and like all of those things. When it's a larger drawing, there's like more to figure out because there's more detail to deal with. So if I seem to be going a little slow, it's because I am, and it's because the drawings are bigger. So I think this is the last of the extreme close-ups of the whole cartoon, honestly. So this scene's kind of important for a number of reasons, because it's sort of the last of a couple of things. It's the last of the extreme close-ups. It's the last time we see this customer in this cartoon. He might show up again someday. I don't know. Something I've been trying to figure out. I don't really have an answer. I don't really think I need to figure it out right now, but I have wondered recently, like, are there going to be any more comic strips anymore? Will I jump into another animated cartoon? I do already have the idea for another animated cartoon. It's not like a lack of ideas. I just have to decide if I want to jump into another years-long project. I don't know what's going on. I kind of want to take like a little bit of a sabbatical after this project. And part of the reason I want to do that is I actually want to spend some time making the book that's like the making of book. So I want to do that. I also want to, you know, if I if I do end up taking this film to festivals, I want to give myself like a year to spend time doing all of that and doing like promotional stuff and all of those things. So I don't. That's kind of my thinking. I don't know that I'll jump immediately into another big giant project. I might not do that. I might hold off for a little bit. But do I have a follow-up cartoon idea? Yes, I do. I guess what I'll probably do is I'll probably write the script. That's what I'm thinking. I'll probably spend some time writing the script. How exciting and also a bit sad. Oh, yeah. Wait, which part? Which part is sad? I mean, I agree, but I'm just curious what you think is sad. When you take it to festivals, not if. Yeah, that is the plan. The plan is to go to festivals. I keep saying if because it's not finished yet, and I want to make sure that like I feel confident enough in the finished product to take it to a festival. I think I probably will. I mean, that is the plan. The plan is to go to festivals. I think that would be just a lot of fun, and I think I have a good shot of getting it into some festivals. Honestly, I don't mean that as like a giant brag. I just think like I think I can. I'm happy enough with the results. I think it will be an interesting thing for people to want in their festival. I also think just the very nature of it being a hand-drawn animated cartoon does kind of give it a little bit of cachet. I don't want to like rest on that. I don't think like the most interesting thing about a project should necessarily be the technique. I think that should be part of it. Oh, did I forget to draw his sideburns in this shot? I think I did. Huh. I'm gonna have to go back and add those in. They're not really. They're kind of sideburns. They're sort of chops. All right, let's try this again. There's so many things to keep track of, and it does get a little overwhelming sometimes, honestly. Oh, the part about it being the last time you're drawing the character. Yeah, I know. It is sad. I mean, I imagine that he will continue to show up in the background of like other things I do. I don't know if he'll ever have a speaking part again. This is this character, this customer character, I created him for new ad day. I didn't go back in and grab a previous customer from another comic. I actually made this guy up for this cartoon. I wanted it to be his first appearance. I wanted to kind of give my characters a sort of new adversary. I mean, there was no reason why I couldn't have done one of the previous characters, but I just sort of wanted to come up with somebody that was like the new ad day customer. So this is his first. This cartoon is his first appearance, which is neat, I think, and maybe his only appearance, but I don't think so. I could see him coming back, at least in the background, at the very least in the background. And that is the plan for some other characters. Like if I do another animated cartoon after this of in this series, which I think I probably will. What I want to do because Retail Sunshine is an ensemble, what I want to do is I want to feature other characters. So it's like New Guy is the main character for New Ad Day, but that does not mean New Guy would always be the main character. He could maybe show up and get a couple lines again in the future, but that doesn't mean that he would always be like the focal point. So I already have another story kind of jotted down. I don't have it. I don't have a script. I just have a story idea, and I already know that it's a different group of characters. But I could have new guy pop in and say something, or I could have him just walk in the background or whatever. Like, you know, I haven't figured that out yet. But my point is that Retail Sunshine is about a bunch of characters, not about one particular character. And that for me, that keeps it interesting because I like to be able to write for different characters and show different perspectives, and I also think it's fun when you have a cast of characters that are all different. This is not why I do it, but it's something that I think is a fun like byproduct of that. What tends to happen is like people pick their favorite characters who they feel like they associate themselves with. I just think that's a lot of fun too. Hey, Sammy Lawrence Bateem. Thank you for the kind words, Sammy, over on YouTube. I appreciate you joining up tonight. I appreciate it. I'm here every Friday night for an hour, so I'd love to have you continue to pop back in if you are having a good time, of course. So now I got to draw the little hairs on this guy's head. It's one of the things that it's like, it's a fun detail, but then when you have to always go back and draw it again, it's like, oh boy, here we go. Because then I got to keep track of where they are. There's a few little things like that that are like a little bit annoying, but sometimes it's fun because then I can kind of like go, well, how can I move those items to make them have different movement, and maybe that'll play with, you know, what's happening in the scene. All right, so there is this is the beginning of the word nothing. So the word nothing starts with N. So he is making an N sound. So he's going from ah to N, like that. Now there might be a need for an in-between between these two drawings. There might be. I don't know that yet. I'll probably come back to that later. But for now, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to get that drawing going. And then this was the one I did earlier today. That one, this drawing here actually follows this one. So he goes like that. But I kind of think I want to do maybe one more in between here and there, between these two drawings. I kind of think I want to do one more there. And I don't know if I need to, but I might though. I might do it. I kind of think I should. I also should show a little bit more of his sleeve here. Let's see. Let's see if that works. You have to really know your character kind of inside and out to be able to draw them from any angle. So it's really good to be intimately familiar with all the parts of your character's like physiology and like where things are supposed to, you know, fall on their person. Let me see. Oh, everybody that gave me a like on Facebook has J as their first initial. I just want to point that out. All 4 people that gave me a like tonight on Facebook all start with the letter J. How funny. Jim, Jonathan, Jordan, and Jen. That's really interesting. Okay. All right. So that's good enough for that. Let me all right, I am going to do that actually. I'm going to do that. I'm going to first of all, I have to scan this one again So that's going to go on my scanner so I can remember later on to scan that. But now I'm going to do an in-between for these. I don't need this drawing here right now. I can move that one around. I am going to put this will be the order I put them in. And then I'll start working on this next one. I may not finish it tonight, but I do think I want to have some kind of in-between there. Get this light turned on for just a second. All right, so we're just going to have this moving a little bit to the right. Do I want to? Yeah, it should be fine. Just blocking in the basic shape right now, and I'll come back in and I'll tool with that here in a little bit. All right. So yeah, let's do that. That's fine. Like I said, I'm slowly working myself back into the rhythm. I sort of took a little bit of a break. Scene 55 kind of wore me out, if I'm being honest. Wore me out / kind of burned me out a little bit. So now I'm sort of slowly trying to get back into things. And I'm trying to go easy on myself and just remind myself that, you know, if I'm making progress, if I'm moving things forward a little bit each day, eventually I'll get back to the point where I'm in a really good flow. But like having the little bit of progress each day, that will eventually catch up, and I will be glad that I did that instead of doing this thing where it's very easy to want to say something like, well, I'm not really feeling in the mood. Let me wait till I'm in the mood. Well, if you keep doing that, then you kind of never get there. And then the problem with that is then you start thinking, oh my gosh, I had days and days and days where I could have got myself closer and closer to getting to that headspace. And so that's why I think, like, honestly, if you're doing any kind of major project like I'm doing, do yourself a favor and make small progress on the days where you feel like you don't know if you want to make any progress. Because then eventually a day will hit you when you're like, oh, I'm really, really ready. I'm feeling like super in the mood and ready to go with making some serious progress. And you'll be so glad that you kept things moving even slightly, because then you still have somewhere to work from, and you're still farther along than you would have been otherwise. So just, you got to, you know, break things down a little bit, and if you can take the workload down a little bit each day, eventually you'll be really, really grateful that you did that. So that is the approach I'm taking right now. I am enjoying the process. I definitely am, and I'm enjoying, like, every scene. I feel like I learned something. But there's also, I'm not a machine, and there's also a level of burnout that can sometimes happen, where if I'm like really tired from work and I just some sort of not feeling like sitting at my desk and concentrating a real long time, then that happens too. So that's why on days like that, I go, well, let me see if I can make like 1 or 2 drawings I can make 1 or 2 drawings on those days, I'm doing okay, because then the next day I'm like, oh well, I'm technically further along, and now I can kind of keep going forward. It just helps. It gets you to a place, or it gets me to a place where I sort of feel like, oh, okay, I never stopped. You might go at different rates and different speeds, but don't stop. Stopping is, I think, a lot worse. So the same is true, I think, for at least for me, with activities that are like physical activities, like going for a jog, or if you're helping somebody move or something like that. And if someone says, oh, you should take a break and sit down, for me, I've noticed that if I take a break and sit down, it's a lot harder for me to get started again. So I kind of like to power through. But that doesn't always work in a creative world. The powering through, sometimes you do need to do that. Sometimes the powering through is good, and sometimes trying to force something, sometimes that's not good, and you end up making stuff that you don't like. So it's a little bit of a balance. I'm not trying to sound like I'm talking out of both corners of my mouth. I'm just trying to say, try a little bit of both. It sort of depends on the situation. If you feel like things aren't going well a certain way, then maybe try the other way. It's just about trying different things until you figure out something that works. Honestly, that is truly what it is. I should put that music back on. Oh, Bayou Bomber is here. I know I'm late tonight, but wanted to say hello. Been working on my own stuff for my animation thesis. Well, that's great. It's great to see you. Tell me a little bit about your animation thesis. What have you been doing? How's that been going? Like, what is your thesis? What is the process like that looking like? I'm going to probably stick around a few extra minutes because I just want to get this going a little bit more. A little more. Bayou Bomber says, been slaving away at getting my keys and breakdowns, both for my characters and my VFX. My goal is to get all the VFX done by tomorrow. That is quite the goal. That way, when I start my spring semester, I can focus on in-betweening everything before summer starts. Wow, that's great. So it's just like a big senior project, or what is this, your thesis? So you're saying, right? So what are you a senior? Is this like a final project? And what is the final project going to be like? What's the length of it and all that stuff? You might have told me before, and I apologize if you did. Sometimes I am forgetful. Senior project thesis. Okay, that's great. Well, that's super exciting. Thanks for letting me know about it. I would love to hear how that goes, so keep me in the loop. Be cool if you could share it when it's done. And come on here and promote it if you want. It's fine. Let people know where they can find it. "90-second animation." Oh, okay. A fireman fighting a giant fire monster to keep it brief. Okay, that's great. Well, that sounds great. I like. How are you? Is it like CGI or like what are you doing? I don't like how that looks. The VFX part is turning out to be easier than I thought because I can just make cycles for VFX to copy and paste. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did particle animation when I was in college, and that was pretty fun. Everything is hand drawn, but you're doing digital cleanup and color in Clip Studio Paint. Awesome. That sounds great. Well, I am super proud of you. Thank you for letting me know and keep me in the loop. You know, these projects are they're no small feat. Honestly, it's quite a lot. Quite a lot. I know I said I was done after an hour, and then now I'm getting pulled in. It's because I'm starting to try to figure this out. You're due to graduate in the fall. Great. So the game is on. Got to do what I can to finish by then. Well, I believe you can do it. That's awesome by you. Keeping your fingers crossed it's good enough to get the diploma. I can't imagine it wouldn't be. You're putting so much energy into it. I'm sure you're doing the right thing. That's great. Are you sharing it with your peers? Do you guys do some kind of like weekly critique or anything like that? Are you showing it to any of your professors and getting like advice along the way? Like what's the process looking like? I might have to fix some of these drawings. I might have to fix some of these drawings. We'll see. You're currently taking directed study classes, which allow you to do your thesis work in place of the normal coursework. Oh, wow. You get feedback week to week that way. That's great. Spring is going to be crucial because you're taking 2 animation classes, one to focus on in-betweening your characters, and the other will be to focus on VFX. That sounds really good. That's a good plan. I think that sounds fantastic. So good job. It'll be a great opportunity to nail down the pencil test. For sure. To answer my previous question, you do share some of your progress on Twitter. Oh, okay. Usually when you're doing pencil tests for VFX. VFX is a lot of fun, and you prefer it over character animation. Well, this is what college is for. This is all about learning where you have your preferences. Well, feel free to share your Twitter handle if you want, and people can go and check you out. I think that'd be really neat. You can kind of see him moving, right? Yeah, you can see that, right? Yeah. Getting there. I'm getting there. I gotta put his eyes on there. The eyes will help me know what to do with the rest of it. I guess I am going to finish another drawing tonight. That's good. Hey, if you guys are enjoying the behind the scenes stuff, I would love to have you over at retailsunshine.com. You can follow me there for free. That's my Patreon. And I post progress stuff there and kind of like what I do here, but just like a post thing, like a social media thing. Actually, I do want to move his eyebrows from where I had them. Let's change that. Okay, almost done. All right, I think I got it. So this should work pretty well. I'm feeling pretty good about these frames. And we'll see how things are going by next week. We'll see how far along into this scene I am. I think it's going to be an 8 or 9 second scene, but the majority of it is just working on this one character. The majority of it. So I don't feel like it's going to be too difficult. That being said, he does walk away from the camera, and that is a tricky thing to do. I have done it before, but it's a bit of a pain. So when I get to that point, we'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm just kind of focusing on his acting and feeling pretty good about it. So anyway, cool. Well, thanks so much for being here, guys. I do appreciate it. And let me move my water out of the way while I turn my camera back around. There we go. I'll get a handle on all this camera stuff eventually. But thanks for being here, everybody. I will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do. It does help out quite a bit, and give it a thumbs up on YouTube. Believe it or not, it's how people find me, is if people are watching and they're interacting and engaging. So I do appreciate all of that support. Even though it doesn't cost you anything, it ends up helping out a lot. So thank you very much, guys. Have a great weekend. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next Friday.